right, we're going to do this again. It's your 8th Classic.
Yep.
This is your home. How does this differ from the previous 7?
You know, of the previous 7, one being on Guntersville. I know Guntersville well. I've had a lot of history there, but nothing even close to the amount of history that I have here on Fort Loudon Tellico Lakes. And so just the knowledge of the water is one of the biggest difference. And I'm staying at home. I'm sleeping in my own bed every night, and that is certainly an added level of comfort, you know, compared to what most of the guys out here and what I've ever experienced at a Classic before. So that's what's, you know, this one is really, really special for that. And then kind of the obvious is that for myself and a lot of guys in this event, this is maybe our last Classic, at least for the foreseeable future, you know. So been a lot of changes in our sport in the last 6 to 12 months, and you know, this is definitely a special Classic.
All right, so let's talk about the actual body of water.
Okay.
It's very hard as a hometown angler to go off of memory. Mm-hmm. So how much time have you actually spent out there previous to, you know, in practice period?
Before the practice, like just in my life?
Yeah.
Well, I would think in a single year, the most tournaments I ever fished on this lake in 1 year, and I probably did this multiple years, was 30 or 40 tournaments in 1 year on this body of water, and I did that probably several different years. You know, so I would have no idea how to grasp how many days I've spent. It probably actually would equate to years that I've spent out there, at least a year or maybe 2 that I have spent on this body of water, from February to July in a night tournament to November. You know, so really just all season long out there, I've spent a lot of time, a whole lot of time on that water.
So then how is your approach now kind of changed since you know it so well? Have you had to come up with a few extra ways to kind of forget some information, to kind of just go out there and clean the slate and really figure out what it's doing now?
No, and you know, I really haven't. Out of all that time that I've spent here, I've spent very, very little. I'm talking like probably less than double-digit number of days in the last 10 years. So, I mean, I've spent a tremendous amount of time here way back when, but in the last 8 to 10 years, it's been very, very minimal, just because of my, you know, my traveling schedule, fishing professionally and stuff. So, you know, it was, I didn't have to relearn the lake, but when I came before the cutoff, I'd come down and spent like 3 days down here, just a boat ride, just to get refamiliarized with the water. I knew exactly the pattern that I planned to fish for this time of year, and I looked for places that I had never fished, but that set up the right way. And I think that was a good move. You know, I spent a lot of time graphing, a lot of time looking, no time fishing, just to give myself more places to run that I had never fished before, and then to mix in with all places that I did already know. And you know, if I added 3 places to my rotation, that was a good thing.
All right, so here's the biggest question of all: weather. This has been kind of a wacky winter.
Yep.
How do you think the weather's really affected what's going on?
I think you know, with the weather that we've had all winter, between the rain, and it's really not been as cold. I don't know if I want to say exactly yet how I think that's affected it, but I certainly do, just with where the bites I've gotten are, you know, what those fish seem to be doing. They're not exactly where I expected them to be. You know, they're in a little bit different stage than what I kind of thought they would be. So, and it took me half the way or most of the way through the first day of practice to get an idea that that's what was going on. And once I did, it's just kind of, I've understood it ever since, I feel like, as far as what those fish are doing. So hopefully it'll continue to look that way.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.